Hello, and we are live at TBI Talk once again. My name is Lynn. I'm so grateful to see you again here today. And I'm really excited because you may be noticing that right now on my left, there may be a man here on the left. And that is, in fact, a man.
And I'm about to be attacked by a dog.
And we're both
Chill.
going to attack this fucking dog. One moment. Apologies for the language. Hey, Zeke, no. Oh, good boy. Lay down. Zeke, lay down. Good boy.
Okay.
Good boy. We'll take it.
That's how I am when I don't have enough attention. Do you want to start over?
No, let's just keep going. Just keep rolling with it. Keep rolling with it. So, yes, thank you so much for your patience while we dealt with that Zeke over there with my roommate's dog. And sitting here to my left is a really, really special friend. Eric is so special to this story, to my TBI story. And just FYI, we have both been hitting my delightful medical marijuana bong a bit ago. So we're not at 100%, right, but we're at 100%. So yes, this is Eric. And when that day happened, that July 3rd, 2020 day happened, when I got hit and run over by a Ford Mustang at the Westin on the beach, I was staying in a hotel room with Eric and some friends.
I love the way you say that, by the way.
Yeah?
Because it's a lot harsher than the way that I have explained to people, because,
that's actually really brilliant. So,
it's interesting to hear you kind of say, like, I was run over by a Ford Mustang.
Sure.
You're getting all the real specifics out, but what really, to me, happened was that you had a moment that changed the rest of your life.
Yeah, it did.
You're still very much the same Lynn to me, which I'm so grateful for, because one of the things that myself and your sisters and mom were all kind of mostly concerned about during your recovery was making sure that you were still you when you came out of it, and your personality was key. And I remember that night changed not only you, but me, our friendship, and I learned so many things, and I continue to learn so many things from you. I don't want to take over, but
no.
It's when I heard you say on the day that I was run over by a car, I'm like,
sure.
That is to me still. It's been 6 years, and it's the craziest day of probably my life,
for sure.
I can't even. I'm not even the one that was hit.
Sure, but your perspective is a really special and unique perspective, because you and I were together that night. Yeah. So Eric is quite literally the first person who had the knowledge and the understanding of what had just happened to me. And you were really connected with my family. Apologies for Mamie joining our conversation.
It's like a zoo here.
Got a few dogs. So yeah, you were one of the first people who were able to reach out to my family and alert my family of what was happening.
Which was not an easy task.
No.
To paint a picture of that night. I had moved to Florida maybe a few years prior or after you, living in Orlando, you living here in Fort Lauderdale, and I didn't get to see Lynn often unless it was her coming kind of to Orlando, going to do Disney together. But we've known each other since.
Oh my goodness.
Radio.
Yes.
We were both at sister stations, 98PXY and the B.
Yeah, 92.5 WBEE.
And
I was Jesse Jordan and Eric Jordan. So
we
we're
told
relatives.
everybody. Yeah, we told people at company parties, other people in the industry, that we were siblings. People were convinced that we were like Nepo kids or something. But I've known you since when it's so crazy, because I think I'm the age now that you were when I met you.
Could be,
so I'm 34 now. We met in what, 2012?
2012 or 2013, yeah.
So, which is crazy to say. But Lynn has always been, to me, one of the most brave, outspoken, and kind people I think I've ever met.
Thank you so much.
And super funny.
Oh, goodness.
Which, by the way,
go on.
I like to think I'm the funny one in my friend group, but you were always somebody that could make me laugh, and we shared that sense of humor. And I saw you go through so much with your divorce, with moving to Florida, and picking up your life, and then when you went through this accident. So I always knew during the process, like in my gut feeling, that you were going to survive this.
Thank you.
I didn't know how different you would come out on the other side of it, but you learn to grow and change, and that change isn't just for you, but like for the people that are around you and love you and still want to support you and understand things. So I've seen it from it all. That night was 4th of July, me visiting.
Yes.
And I was with my ex at the time, and the three of us got a hotel, as you know.
And my dogs.
On the Westin. Now, I knew Lynn, but I didn't really know Lynn's family. Prior to her accident, I had never met her sisters, her mother, anyone. So my ex and I had just picked Lynn up from from her house before that trip to the beach. And I had met your roommate at the time, Sam, and Sam was like, "Oh, I love you. I always see you on social media. We should add each other." And she just added me on Instagram that afternoon.
Nice.
Well, later on that evening, obviously, is when
you needed
the
to
accident.
reach out to her,
and I didn't know who to reach out to, so I had called, or I had reached out on Instagram, and then I was Googling your siblings' names, and I found Jennifer.
My older sister.
Her older sister through her work. Through the what is it, foster care that she does for dogs?
Adoption rescue. Yeah.
So I had called the business number, and by chance your sister happened to answer the phone and introduced, saying, "Hey, like there's been an accident. We got this going on, right?" So it's really crazy to think that night was just like me in real time, and this was the start of COVID, as I'm sure I've heard you mention on the show. And
Zeke,
they didn't tell me even what hospital you were going to.
No, sorry.
We're talking to you too. You can listen. What do you got to say? He says, "How come I wasn't at the Westin?
Yeah,
You've never taken me to the Westin."
My bad, Zeke. Sorry about that.
What dog's got a nice hotel stay in a suite? That's what he got out of it. But when the accident happened, I'll never forget this. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling because she made me smoke before we did this.
We hit the bong. It was delightful. I had coffee.
But we were staying at the hotel. We were so excited. It's 4th of July weekend. Had a few drinky poos in the hotel room, but nobody was a mess. Everybody seemed sober. And I remember we went to bed, and we put on some awful Will Ferrell film on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was. It was like Eurovision, where they sing those songs or whatever.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But halfway through the movie, I'm like, wow, Lynn's zonked out. Like I said to my ex, I said, "Oh, I think Lynn's asleep." And you were not in your bed. You had gotten up and taken a phone call, and I had forgotten that had happened.
Okay.
So I had thought, I don't know, I was distracted by the film or whatnot. So I'm like looking around the room going, "Well, where's Lynn? Where's Lynn?" And I'm asking my ex, like, "Do you know where Lynn went?" And he was like, "No, I don't know." So all the blinds, we were the second floor,
I have no idea.
Hotel room right on the beach. And we were at the corner of the building. So we were making the shape, right? So we had glass windows all along the front beach side and the side. We were second floor. All the blinds were closed in our room, though, because it was bedtime.
Yeah,
but I saw a peak of red light coming out from the blinds. And I opened up all of the blinds, and you could just see all these emergency vehicles.
Oh, shit.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't know what's going on out there, but I didn't think it was you. And that's when my ex goes, "Where did you say Lynn is?" And I put two and two together, and the way this building was designed is you had to run the complete opposite end of the building to then run back to where you were. You couldn't just go down and straight out, so I couldn't get to her quickly. By the time I got out to the emergency vehicles, they were taking you away on an ambulance, and the only reason that I knew it was truly you was three things. They pointed out your cell phone that they were picking up off the ground, which was at one point in the street.
Okay.
And at the time, like I said, COVID, so your mask, which was Grogu from The Mandalorian.
Okay, keep going. I'll be right back.
And this face mask was laying on the opposite side of the street, to just give you perspective on how far, when Lynn got hit, her body rolled or moved.
When I left the hotel, I had to leave with the face mask on. Did you have to have a face mask on?
I think you had to have a face mask on to walk throughout the building. Because remember, it was like right at the peak. I'm talking like when everything started to shut down, and they didn't even know that the hospital implemented new protocols that evening. We weren't allowed in, right? That's the mask. She's bringing the mask. Okay. This was literally on the opposite side of a 4-lane highway where her phone was, on the opposite side.
Remember when we had to carry these around in 2020?
Yes. And that's how I knew it was you. And they told me that you were going to whatever hospital it was. And I remember some girl on the side of the street had witnessed the whole thing, and she was trying to explain to me, and I'm having a panic attack. I'm sobbing. They wouldn't tell me if you were alive or not. The cops, right. I kept asking, is she alive? She alive? Would not tell me. But the person that witnessed it, she had described the accident, and then she was like, and she'd lost her toe. And I remember I like sobered up in the moment, and I go, which toe? And she was like, her big toe. And I said, goodness. That's been long gone. I believe
yeah, we lost that.
Front lawnmower circa 1982?
1992.
Okay.
so yes, the story is in 1992, I cut off the big toe on my right foot, and Berlin is sharing her dissatisfaction with that too. So yes, I was already missing the big toe on my right foot, and it's really unique to me to know after all these years that some of my EMTs had noticed it and thought that was part of the accident. They thought that was part of it. Yeah.
But that night was the last time I had seen you for, I think, 6 months of recovery.
Yes, because I was in medical care from July, August, September, October, and November of 2020. So I was in the hospital for 5 months. Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because in addition to being the last person to see me before my TBI, you're also one of the first people to see me after my medical treatment had finished up. And one moment, let me just get Zeke cozied away somewhere where he'll shut the phone. All right. I believe, thank you to Eric for his patience dealing with me to help me refigure out how this electronic stuff works, and also for helping me rededicate where we were in the episode after we so delightfully hit my bong earlier. So thank you again to Eric. He reminded me that we were just talking about Eric being one of the last people to have seen me before my traumatic brain injury. And you also have the unique perspective to be one of the very first people to have seen me after my medical treatment for my TBI had wrapped up. And that was in July of 2020. So I was under medical care and treatment July, August, September, October, and then November. And you and your ex happened to come down to my sister's house. And didn't you cook us Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah, it was actually Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It was important to myself and my ex and your siblings.
Sure.
That we wanted to kind of just like heal that moment. I had obviously no communication with you during that time that you're healing, because your sisters were communicating everything through social media, keeping us all kind of aware, but it wasn't something that I had the privilege of doing. And I was worried. I'm not going to lie, that entire drive I said, I'm going to cook Thanksgiving dinner for everybody. It'll be really nice just to be together. But I remember telling my ex, like, I'm just really worried that she's going to be different. Because I know what's healing. I know what surgeries were done. I know she likes certain things. I know I've read that she's doing her summer.
I'm going to ask you to pause while we deal with this dickhead.
One moment. And we're back. It's not even your dog.
I know, right? It's okay. It's all right.
Can't get mad at you.
No, I know, right? And I can't really get mad at the dog either, just trying to do his dog thing.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, you were saying you were nervous about Thanksgiving dinner with me and my sister and your ex after I had gotten discharged from all those months of medical care.
I was really just, because my last memory of you was right before that accident, which obviously what you went through is crazy traumatic, and it's never going to compare to how I feel. But the unknown, that fear of like somebody you love laying in the street, not sure if they're alive, not sure if they're ever going to be themselves again, and had that prolonged for 6 months on top of remember what it felt like during COVID. For those at home, you were kept away from everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was already going through kind of mental health concerns, and it was a different time for a lot of people handled it. So and then I had also gone through a breakup.
Oh yeah.
And we chose to do Thanksgiving together still to see you, but we were broken up at that point. And
oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, and
see, and I don't remember that.
I'm going to be honest with you, it's not my business to expose, but he had turned to some really dark things to deal with, like the trauma from it.
Oh man.
And that ended up leading to our breakup. But at the same time, we took kind of two different paths, but my fear was about this bond, because I loved going to the Disney parks.
My goodness.
Oh my God, the laughs that we would have about half of the time that I spend with Lynn is us just reminiscing about things that already happened. And then just being like, remember the greatest hits? And I don't even know if we're making new great hits in the meantime. Wow.
We are making, this is a great hit right here.
I can't wait to watch this back sober.
But when you first met me after I had recovered medically from my TBI, what was I like then? Well, you look at me now today, and you think of me then in 2020. And can you share with me the differences that you see between the two of us?
Yeah, it's weird to think like 5.5 years.
I know, right?
When you first came out, there were obvious physical parts of you that were different. The side of your face was very...
My right side?
Very droopy.
Yeah, okay.
Your scars were very visible at the time. Your hair was still growing back.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
From when it was all shaved, obviously. And you were wearing glasses.
Yes.
But your one eye was shut.
Oh, it was shut. My right eye was shut.
Was almost completely shut.
Okay.
Today, you look dead on, and her eyes are both equally open, and you see it, but it was very droopy one eye, almost completely closed. And you were like appreciative to be around everybody, but you were very confused as to like what exactly happened.
Yeah.
You still didn't know. I think you knew that you were in an accident, but there was no conversations about that night in particular. We probably had that conversation in which you've asked me what happened 5 or 6 times afterwards, because I don't think you had fully remembered even. And I think it's this weird thing that the brain does when you're still trying to protect trauma, is I would explain to her in detail, and you could see you got very emotional when I would tell you, and then like a steel trap, her mind just shut it back out, and then we'd have to have that conversation again. And I'm talking years. I think the last conversation you and I probably had about it was probably 3 years ago, and I had explained it many times in between the 3-year time frame. But you still had your humor shine through in ways. It wasn't like she was cracking jokes at dinner, but she would make Lynn facial expressions. You would make these faces like I'm here, I'm annoyed, and you knew the humor was there because you've always been so sarcastic and like quick wit. And I was hoping that was there. But I was nervous because you'd say things like, for example, if you knew you needed to take an Uber, you'd be like, oh, I gotta get my Spotify driver. Yeah. And she would kind of mistake the words.
Aphasia, yeah.
Right. So you had a hard time communicating sometimes what you meant, and I could see you getting frustrated with yourself trying to get to that point where you could communicate. And then I remember how depressed you were before you started medical marijuana. I remember we were in Orlando, and I had talked to you a few times, and you were there for a conference for work. And we were staying at the Gaylord Palms Hotel, and I remember you had just started your marijuana journey. And I was barely a stoner at all then, too. And we were in the hotel room, she had her pen, I'm like, okay, I'll take a hit. And this is back like when you do one hit and we thought we were on another planet. So funny. But I remember you said to me, I said, how have you been? I know you were really depressed for a bit. And I can't imagine what it feels like to wake up and your body not be what you remember it. That's something I'll never fully understand. But I remember you said to me, I'm so grateful for this weed. And I said, oh, I bet, like, of course, right? And you said, I watched a movie for the first time since my accident that I was able to actually laugh at. I remember you said I laughed for the first time again.
Okay.
And that, like, broke me because our friendship is a foundation of giggles.
Laughter. It's just 100% laughter.
So to hear that you had been struggling to even laugh up to that point was really concerning, but I was so grateful for that you found weed. And then with weed, you've, like, blossomed into... I've seen you heal. Your face is way back to normal, right? You know, your eye's still gonna be messed up because she got hit by a car.
Right, I did a little.
But for the most part, you don't look like a victim to me anymore. You look like yourself again.
Thank you.
And I love that even though you have been navigating a new path where you're not working any longer, you know, that you don't get to get out, go in the car and go places that you truly wish to go. And financially, you're more cautious because you're limited on what you can do. So I know that you having to give up your Disney pass. This is somebody that drove down to Orlando literally once a month to come see me, stay at a hotel, and go to the Disney park. So for you to lose that freedom, I knew was a real concern. But I say to everybody when they ask me about how you're doing, I tell them she's thriving and she finds new ways, like this show. I can imagine the joy this brings you to do this and giving you an avenue to keep yourself busy and talk to people still, because the radio broadcaster in you, the entertainer wants to talk to people.
Absolutely.
And I get that. And I've seen phases, but I'm happy that, you know, even though you're going to continue to learn about yourself and what you're capable of, I'm happy to know if I've seen this much growth in a 6-year time frame from beyond the obvious, like your personality has taken on such a new light. That's something only time can bring.
Well, thank you.
So I know 6 years from now, like, she's going to have an empire, like a TBI Talk empire or something. I mean, or we'll be high on this same couch and 50 fucking dogs are going to bark throughout it.
Either way, it's a win.
Yeah,
because
a win's a win.
That's right. No matter how you cut it, a win is a win.
Yeah.
Well, I'd really like to thank you so much for your perspective and for your kindness and your support through all of this. Like, when I think of the person or people who were really truly connected and kind and patient during my recovery, you're definitely really high on that list, because, you know, you were there. You were with me that day, and your words really do show that TBIs are a family injury. There's one person who suffers the physical aspect of it, but just like I'm different now today than I was July 3rd, 2020, I'm also different now today than I was in 2021 or 2022 or 2023, because I hung on to that annual pass until I couldn't work anymore.
Well, it's also, and I meant to bring this up earlier, like, as you mentioned it being a family injury, part of your growth is acknowledging that you got to let the person going through it do the growth on their own.
Yeah.
It's so instinctive for somebody, and especially myself, when I would see you going through struggles, to want to step in and ease the obstacle for you or just take over and do it, which, you know, they could have been, you know, she's struggling to open up a can of soda. You know, you're trying to tie your shoe, right? Or even today, I still have that feeling. I drive a much larger, taller vehicle now that has like a step that you have to step on to get in, and I'm like, it's gonna be like a gymnasium set to get her in this vehicle.
And it took me a minute to figure out how to do it.
But you said to me, you go, I'm so appreciative of how she said this, because I said, hey, do you want me to come help you get in? And she goes, I'd like to try it on my own so that for the rest of today I'm able to get in on this without your assistance. And that speaks such volumes to what I think your mindset is and how you want to change things. So I say, like, if you want your loved ones to recover and to be themselves again, you got to also be comfortable with watching them struggle. You know, you got to take a joy in watching you struggle. But what it did teach me was true patience.
Mm-hmm.
Patience to love you enough to let you, even if it seemed dangerous, like crossing the street or, letting you get into my car, because you got a fragile little leg up here.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not trying to crack that
It's
shit.
dented.
I do remember.
It is actually dented.
Yeah, so I know you're going to continue to be in the path that you need to be in and want to be in, and I'm so grateful every day that I still have you in my life to see it.
And I'm grateful that you're walking that path right along with me. Thank you so much for all of it, and really thank you for being with me then and today after all the Disney trips and all the fun that we've had and all the laughs and so many jokes.
You knew me before I got fatter and bald.
You knew me before my eye was fucked up and my knee and my shoulder and my arm got run over by a car. You know me back when. You knew me back when. Thank you so much for being here on TBI Talk. Thank you so much to Eric and his BF for being here today, and my pack for being relatively decent, and for Zeke for being relatively decent. Most importantly, you for being here for all of it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.